Chris will start us off in this sports conspiracy draft. So this one's tricky to me.
Oh, I won.
Chris, you go first.
You dominated me.
Dominated. How many guys? How many people do we have in here?
It was 2-0, and I assume Rec was one of them, but he's denying it. So,
all right. Well, all right. So, guys, again, we are going to be picking some conspiracies, and we're gonna be drafting our favorite ones. And once we're drafted, we're gonna vote. And we're going to see whose team is more or whose draft picks are more interesting. And we're going to break out a show coming up. Might not be next show, but might be a show coming up at some point in the coming week or two. And we're going to go through some of these conspiracy theories and kind of break them down and kind of give them some thought on whether or not they're feasible, they're real, they're bullshit. Because I mean, conspiracy theories, guys, we already know there's the flat earthers, there's the moon landing people, and some people believe them, some people don't.
Space isn't real.
Space isn't real. I mean, that motherfucker is not real.
Seconds and I will be back.
It's not real.
That motherfucker back there is not real.
That motherfucker back there is not real.
So yeah, we're gonna figure out what's real and what's not. So I'll wait for Sky to get back, and I'll take my first pick. Speaking of women's basketball, unranked Virginia beat number 5 Virginia Tech today. Crazy.
So speaking of, I guess while Sky is gone, can you give a sneak peek as to what you've got?
So I have a couple. I have a handful.
Which you need for this.
You know, I got a handful. Like, here's the thing: conspiracy theories. Some of them get into this weird realm of like sports betting, which is kind of it kind of is not really a theory anymore. So with some aspects of some of these storylines and some of these events, but like, I have a handful that probably Scotty's going to take a handful of mine. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to run out of gas on some of these conspiracy theories. We might need your guys' help in the chat, by the way, to help get us through.
I had a couple ideas.
Yeah. So we're going to get some going here, and we're going to have some fun with it. So let me go ahead. I'm going to pull up all my conspiracy theories that I'm going to be kind of taking a look at. All right. So, all right. With the first overall pick in the sports conspiracy draft, I think I got to go with kind of one of the more famous ones. And that is, it's a doozy. It's a doozy. The Michael Jordan retirement of everything that went on with that. So the Michael Jordan retirement in 1993, where basically the suspension, like there was kind of this weird thing going with the punishment of potentially all the off-court issues of gambling and some of the things happening. And that's kind of where he went. Scotty, we've talked about this before. He ended up going to play some baseball. He came back, and then he won some more championships. But like, whether or not that was a forced retirement versus a retirement to, just actually be a legit retirement that he was like, I'm done with basketball. Because a lot of the allegations around some of the gambling and some of the things that were happening off the court were a bad look on the NBA, and they were trying to figure out whether or not, the star, the mega star, the guy that is the best player of all time, the superstar globally with the image of the NBA is going to be somebody that's going to be touted in a negative light. So instead of actually going through all those different allegations and things and suspensions, Jordan retired, so to speak. Scotty, anything I missed on this one?
Yeah.
And what?
No, I knew you would take it at 1, and it's a good pick at 1. It's a good pick because it involves the greatest player to ever play basketball. And I can't speak to. I don't know that we should talk on whether this is plausible or not.
We also got to save it for another show, right? So this is just like high level.
It's high level. It's out there. There's some thought to it, and there's no doubt that Michael Jordan loved to gamble. Whether you call that a gambling problem or he just loved to gamble, he gambled a lot and had some problems in that. And he was far from perfect off the court. On the court, Michael Jordan was perfect. Off the court, he had issues. So, a good pick. I would have taken him 1 too. So, I felt like that's where you were gonna head, and if I had the number 1 pick, I would have taken him as well. So,
all right, there we go.
It's a solid number 1 pick.
All right. Go.
I'm trying to decide through mine whether I want to go with like my personal favorite one, or do I want to go with what maybe the people in the chat think. I'm gonna go with. Man, I don't know. This is a hard draft because I don't know how to rate one over the other. But I'm gonna bring in one of the other goats, Chris. Or perceived goats.
Ooh, I know where you're going. I think
I'm headed to the NFL here.
Oh,
and I'm headed. Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of NBA. The NBA cheats, Chris. That's clear. There's a lot of NBA ones out there. I'm headed to the NFL, and maybe this is too high, but the viewers know it, and it's Deflategate, Chris, and it's not actually Deflategate. It's Spygate. So there is a theory that, there was a lot of things coming down the pipeline with the Patriots and their cheating scandal, and there were videos and tapes delivered to Roger Goodell, and he came down hard on them. And some people felt like it was almost bizarre how hard he came down on them based off of the evidence they told them about. But there's a theory out there that Goodell hid a lot of it.
Yes.
There's theories that Goodell got tapes and proof of tape practices that the New England Patriots had going into that first Super Bowl they won against the Rams. They concealed all these tapes. Then Goodell got a piece of it, but he's like, it's not worth it if I come out and tell people about this. This is going to ruin our sport more than help it. So I'll just punish him behind the scenes, and he's protecting himself and the league in that sense and making it more valuable, because as we see now, everyone loves to call the NFL, it's already decided. Everyone, there's stakes at play, and no one likes to just watch the product on the field and decide that's actually what happens. They're like, no, you're cheating in some capacity. But for me, Spygate with the Patriots and that roster, and to be honest, this is one of the most plausible ones. I think it probably happened. Belichick, listen, there's the whole saying, you're not cheating. If you're not cheating, you're not trying. And Belichick, I guarantee you cheated. I guarantee you Belichick cheated, and Brady cheated too. To what extent, no one will ever know, but this one is one of the most plausible, and it involves the GOAT in the NFL that a lot of people receive. So that'll be my number 1 pick, Chris.
I mean, Spygate is a massive one in the sense that everyone knows Spygate. It's like it's the whole scandal of the New England Patriots that goes hand in hand with Deflategate. I mean, how many gates, so to speak, are associated with the Patriots? It's there's so many, and Spygate, I think, is one of those big ones that stands out, and everyone knows the reference. So that being said, it's a good pick. It's a good pick at number 1. I think it's a solid option.
I think that's the best NFL one. So we want to grab the NFL audience, you know?
Yeah. No, I think
There's a lot of basketball ones.
A lot of basketball.
The NBA just cheats, Chris.
Well, the NBA is just like there's always some sort of NBA. There's always some sort of NBA controversy. So, anyways, speaking of,
you headed back there. You pulling up on the NBA?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I have a couple options here that I could go with, but I think. I mean, it's a pretty legit conspiracy, and it's hard for me to go against this one because I know it's a super popular.
Super popular conspiracy.
Yes, I think I got to do it. I
have a guess on where you're going, but I don't know for sure.
All right, we're gonna go with my number 2 pick. We're going with the frozen envelope.
That's where I thought you were headed.
Yeah, the 1985 NBA draft. We're gonna keep this very high level because again, we're gonna break these down in a later show. But the 1985 NBA draft lottery, which was supposedly fixed. Based off of what took place. Now, Commissioner Stern, the frozen envelope, the Knicks drafted Patrick Ewing. So this was a big thing because the New York Knicks, obviously, big market and needed to be relevant. Patrick Ewing was one of the best college athletes coming out. And this one, man, I haven't heard anyone bring up the frozen envelope in a long time. Yeah, frozen envelope. And so the thing is like when they went into this lottery, they went in and he jumped straight in there and grabbed it, right? And just there was these conspiracies of whether or not there was a fix in on the NBA draft lottery to make sure that Patrick Ewing went to the New York Knicks. And it was a big deal for a long time to figure out whether or not the NBA wanted this to be more of a push towards the bigger markets and get the best players in the bigger markets. So, Scotty, do you remember this one?
I mean, I wasn't born yet, but no, that was definitely on my list. And that's actually, I said that I thought that's where you were going to head. That was a big moment. You get the big market with New York. Of course, conspiracies always involve the bigger markets, right? Like, especially in like lotteries like that. But I rewatched it actually today. The video of him grabbing. They have these giant envelopes. They do it very differently now.
Yeah.
NBA, but like these giant envelopes, and then like the head of security just spins this thing, and they go around. Some think it was a frozen envelope. Some thinks they like bent one of the corners.
Yeah, something to
that was the tell, like to make sure New York got. Because I think like Indiana got the number 2 pick. So like no one's trying in the NBA to make Indiana the number 1 overall pick. Jokes on the Knicks though. Yeah.
True, yeah.
Gave him 0 titles. So,
yeah, he didn't exactly deliver.
Yeah, but the rumor is it was cold and frozen or it was bent at the corner. Either way, could have happened, Chris.
It's plausible. So there you go. Number 2, frozen envelope. All right, Scotty, you're up.
I'm gonna dive deep into one that like isn't my repertoire as far as sports and related knowledge, but like this one to me is the most plausible, and I think it probably happened. And it involves some superstars in a sport that we don't ever talk about, Chris, because it's a joke now. It's a joke of a sport now. Now they just have like random average celebrities, not even average celebrities, like the C-list celebrities, D-list celebrities.
D-list.
Getting out there. We're talking about boxing, Chris.
Oh, boxing.
We're talking boxing.
Hey.
I'm talking I'm talking Muhammad Ali.
Oh, he was on my list. It was on my list. It was on my list.
This dates back to far before
the Phantom
were alive. 1965, Chris, and the Phantom shot her around the world from Muhammad Ali that knocked Sonny Liston down. And by knockout, Muhammad Ali won that fight. Now, would he have won that fight legitimately? Probably. But there are a lot of, it's not even debated. Sonny Liston had ties to the mob back in the days. So it wasn't even, this isn't even like debatable. There are well documented references to Sonny Liston being involved with the mob and then fighting Muhammad Ali, and then all of a sudden just going down with like a random punch that didn't look bad at all. And he gets countered out, not even by the ref. The ref, ironically, like is counting him out, but like didn't see it initially or whatever. And someone off the rank that's supposed to also assist with the count out called the match, Chris. There's so much there. This is probably, of all of these and in the 10 here, I think this is the most plausible. I think this is real. I think Sonny Liston was in a bad spot with some gambling issues with some mob guys and used this fight to get out of it. And good for him. But this is, to me, the most plausible. I'm not a huge boxing guy. Obviously, I didn't see this fight, but like you see the punch, go Google the punch. There's no way one of the greatest boxers of all time, Sonny is going down off that punch.
By the way,
there's no chance.
It was a minute and 44 seconds into the first round, and a punch that no one appeared to have seen. Nobody was like, wait, what?
Not even sure it connected.
Not even sure. Like, I mean, some people are like, oh yeah, they landed a perfect blow, and then other people are like, I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything that really kind of went through like the actual connect. Anyways, it's a wild conspiracy that, again, has some like some mobster gambling undertones, and like, I mean, Ali already had kind of some of those connections of like those kind of controversial connections with, like, you know, Islam and Malcolm X, and like, you know, he was in the news for a lot of those kind of storylines and what he, you know, his background kind of revolved around and what he like believed in and everything else, right? So there's a lot of different things happening here, but yeah, crazy conspiracy theory. I mean, I don't watch a lot of boxing as much either, just because it's like it's not even a big deal anymore. But back in the day, that was huge.
It was the peak event of the like year probably in sport, was Sonny Liston versus Muhammad Ali.
It was huge.
And it turns out Sonny Liston just fucked everyone over. Just ruined it.
Was Fury and versus Wilder first fight really a draw? I think I can't, maybe, I don't know. I can't remember that first Fury Wilder. I know Fury's been, you know, recently have been.
When you talk about gambling, though, gamblers don't want to draw. That just means you're refunded. So a draw is like the worst scenario.
Yeah, 100%. All right, cool. So let's get to the next ones here. And I don't know, we might run out of gas before we even get to 5, but we'll see. We'll see if there's any honorable mentions from you guys. All right, so for me, at the number 3 spot, I mean, there's another legend that I could throw out there. And I think I will. I think I'll go with this one. I'm going to go with the 1988 Edmonton Oilers trade of Wayne Gretzky to the LA Kings. And this one, and maybe Rec, you can chime in on this one too. I know you get into the hockey aspect of sports. So in 1988, the NHL had a massive trade that traded Wayne Gretzky, like 3 or 4 picks, 4 picks and a bunch of money to the LA Kings. Now, there was a lot of controversy surrounding this because it's like, there was a lot of success with Wayne Gretzky in Edmonton, right? So he's doing his thing. He's super successful, winning Stanley Cups, right? And all of a sudden, he's traded. And he's got the tears in the press conference, everything else. But the conspiracy theory comes in is the fact that the NHL kind of behind the scenes worked the magic to make this happen, because there was behind the scenes, the Edmonton Oilers owner was kind of in this financial situation where he couldn't afford to do things with the team that he wanted to. And there was some ties to bankruptcy and everything else. But then he gets traded to a team that also has some financial fraud, bankruptcy issues going on. And they're like, why would a bankrupt owner send the star player of a league to another bankrupt owner? And it was basically because the NHL wanted to make the LA Kings and Gretzky in a bigger market. They thought he was going to be better for the sport and better for LA and hockey in general in a larger market. So there was all of these weird swirling rumors behind the Wayne Gretzky trade, and eventually just went on to LA. Scotty.
The Chiefs legitimately winning 4 Super Bowls is a conspiracy.
Well, just get ready for 5, my friend. Get ready for 5, because it's coming very soon. All right, so you went hockey. I have a hockey one, but that was not the one that was on my radar. But that's interesting. That was not one I had on my radar. But I mean, when you're talking about Gretzky, by far the greatest hockey player to ever exist, there's some potential that there were some foul play there.
Yeah, weird things happening out there. And again, we'll dive into these. You guys are going to vote on which ones we're going to cover. Thank you, Evil, for the 100 bits. Appreciate that. Thank you. I'm
gonna hit one up that no clue if it's true, but it's scandalous and it's a sport we haven't hit yet. I'm going to baseball, Chris, here.
Ooh.
I'm going baseball, and I'm going to a baseball athlete along with an actor who portrayed in a ton of baseball films. Like, that was his thing almost. All right. Yeah, I don't think this is where you thought I was headed.
No, I mean, this is so we all know the consecutive game played historically record in baseball, right? Like, when we were growing up, Chris, it was a big deal. Oh, I heard this one. Yes. Right.
So we're talking about Cal Ripken Jr.
Cal.
That dude just played game after game. I mean, he was a phenomenal player, but he's known for the consecutive game played.
Yeah.
So this controversy does come after he had already broke the consecutive game played. But where this all in lies is with an actor who was reportedly a great friend of Cal Ripken Jr. and stayed at Cal Ripken Jr.'s house.
Yep.
None other than Kevin Costner. Obviously a GOAT in portraying, Field of Dreams, The Perfect Game. I'm forgetting another one. Portrayed a ton of movies where he was a pitcher. Kevin Costner and Cal Ripken Jr. were reportedly really good friends, and reportedly Cal Ripken caught Kevin Costner sleeping with his wife. Okay. And after a fist fight broke out during this instance where he caught him at his own home, Cal Ripken Jr. was distraught and beat up a little bit and unable to play in that night's game that was going to occur at Oriole Park. And because he was unable to play, guess what happened, Chris? Miracle of all miracles. there was a random blackout that occurred where the stadium lights in Baltimore were just by happenstance unable to come on, Chris. The lights went out to the stadium for a Major League Baseball team and they couldn't get them back on, so they postponed the game, thus keeping intact Cal Ripken's streak, and he continued to move on from that. So yeah, this scandal is Kevin Costner slept with Cal Ripken's wife, and the Orioles took care of things by keeping the streak intact by having a random made up, whoa, we just can't turn on the lights to our stadium. The only time in their history
Only time
to do that, and it was just so happened to be reportedly when there were some issues in doubt that Cal Ripken would play that night.
How what was the streak at that point? Was it like
I think he'd already broken it, but like
it was still going?
I think he extended it quite a bit after that. And now he didn't even need to do that. Little do we know, players are soft as hell in baseball now. They can't even play like 5 games in a row without getting tired.
That was an interesting one too, because it was like that's when you get the bleeding into like Hollywood, and then that weird, strange like fidelity and everything else.
Before it was like, reported Instagram stuff or whatever social media stuff, like TikTok, like the rumors. This was before it was cool to bring out those rumors. Kevin Costner slept with Cal Ripken's wife. It happened.
Wow. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. Yeah, 2,632 was the streak. So yeah, it was still rolling. At that point. Let's see. Anything else? Sorry, I'm from UK, but on the subject of conspiracies, was Kobe really an accident or was he killed? Ooh. So I think it was an accident. Kobe, I don't think there's enough conspiracy theories around Kobe to really validate like anything substantial. I mean, I don't know. I don't think there's anything around Kobe.
My issue is like with anything like that, you got to prove what the motive is. Like, what is the motive to kill Kobe at that point? Like, I'm not aware of it. Was there some reason that you needed? Like, was Kobe about to just drop a bomb on the world, like information wise, that we had no idea about? Not to my knowledge. So to make it a conspiracy, you have to feel like there's a motive there, just like a murder, you know? I've watched.
He says the motive was over his nickname in a lawsuit.
Mamba?
The Black
Mamba?
Really? So it was like it's more of a Mamba like trademark money thing.
The problem is, if it's someone arguing that, you kill him, that nickname loses. Well, maybe it increases for a little bit, but then eventually it just loses value. Just like, I'm not trying to drink a drink or whatever it was that's like, hey, we're just feeding off reputation of this amazing basketball player that also died in a car or a plane crash. In that instance in itself of like how it happened, I don't think. I mean, none of these could be real. That's why it's conspiracy. In my mind, it just sucked. Kobe dying sucked. But do I think it was conspiracy? Nah.
Yeah, it's hard for me to get into that, but yeah, I don't know if I could buy into it. Rich to his daughter and the other families too. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So
and daughter and a ton of other kids that were like teammates of the daughter. Like I think it's not true because I would be terrified to know that is true.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. Okay, so number 4 here. If they were trying to kill him to win money for the Mamba name, it backfired because now everyone calls Kobe Mamba. Yeah, I mean, I just don't. I didn't hear enough conspiracy theories around it to be like where it came out enough to really. I don't know. I can't get there. Not quite yet. You know what conspiracy theories we haven't got? I mean, we've already kind of debunked all of the Buffalo Bills conspiracies around DeMar Hamlin. So I don't know if we're going to be, he's a real person, right? I don't know. Anyways. All right. Let's see. Where do I want to go with this next one? I think I have a couple. Let's go with this one. And this one is kind of a famous one. Just for the sake of time, we're going to go with this. I'm going to go with... Here we go. We're going to go with the bloody sock. Was that ever figured out? Because the bloody sock, Curt Schilling, for the Boston Red Sox, is kind of one that lives in lore, right? I mean, you have the fact that Curt Schilling is pitching. All of a sudden there's the hype around a bloody sock, right? You have the 2004 ALCS, and there's the camera that pans down and you just see red inside his shoe. And you're just like, oh, wow. Curt Schilling is a legend. He's out there pitching hurt. Game 4, 2004 ALCS. And, the broadcasting crew notices it. The TV cameras can't capture it. But afterwards, people were wondering whether or not that was real blood or not, or if it was ketchup or paint or something else. And this kind of ran all over the place. Now, it just kind of made a lot of people wonder whether or not this was legit or whether it was done as a public move to kind of gain more attention around this particular game. Scotty, you remember this one quite well, right?
I absolutely do. Yeah, I mean, you saw the sock. He had a great performance. It literally was questioned by the announcer in the game. Like, is that real or is that just portrayed? And maybe that's obviously, I don't know, Chris, how much you know about Curt Schilling, but like a controversial person to say the least.
Yes.
His post-career thoughts on things. So a lot of people want to believe it based off of that. But yeah, it was on my list, Chris. It was on my list. I don't know if I would have taken it next or not. Maybe I would have, but it was definitely on my list. And yeah, the Curt Schilling sock thing, real stuff.
Yeah.
Back in 2004.
Guys, remember, we are going to be breaking down the winning list on a future show. So make sure you guys keep in mind, you guys are going to be voting on this later on. Don't forget. Stick around.
Yeah, Chris, I'm gonna hit the NBA finally. I think.
Okay, let's get it.
Not as maybe. Yeah, I think I'm gonna reflect on officiating for the first time in all of this.
Ooh,
wildly.
Okay. All right.
But I'm going back to 2002, and I'm talking Lakers Kings, Chris.
Okay.
That one.
Okay.
Yeah. Obviously, we have a situation. Kings up 3-2 in a series, playing great. You got Peja, you got Mike Bibby, you got Chris Webber. Like, they're flowing. They're playing great against obviously the juggernaut that is the Lakers with Kobe and Shaq. And we went into a game 6 where all of a sudden the Kings were just curb stomping them, Chris.
It was brutal. Yeah.
It was the Lakers had no shot. This series was over. This is Western Conference Finals. The Kings are headed to the finals for the first time, I believe, ever in their history. And all of a sudden, the Lakers got 27 free throw attempts in that fourth quarter, Chris. In that fourth quarter alone. There are
that still happens today, doesn't it?
There are proven refs. There are proven refs that have come out that said they were Donahue, whatever his name is.
Tim Donahue
basically said like he was aware of people that were involved in the officiating of the game that were told to certainly slant it in the direction of LA. Like they're literally in the final 13 seconds of that game, Chris, Kobe Bryant busted Mike Bibby's nose open.
Yes.
With an elbow. Guess who got the foul call there?
Bibby.
It was on Bibby.
It was Bibby.
It was on Bibby.
Oh, no.
Literally, Kobe just shot him with an elbow, and they're like, nah, that's got to be on Bibby.
Oh.
Why get your nose in the way of Kobe's elbow? Is it possible it was poorly officiated? Yeah, but like, there's no way. This was the worst probably officiated game, and like obviously in the NBA, there's a lot of conspiracies out there of like, they're just trying to get this team here or there. But like, this to me is the number one proof of like, were refs always legit, and were there things at play? Because this 2002 game, like the Lakers went on and won the title, but they had no business being in this game.
Nope.
And the refs brought them back in.
Yeah, that one's a wild one. I remember that one, and I was like, I mean, it was kind of like I didn't really appreciate what it was at the time with that game of like how egregious that was and how it changed. Like that whole game just flipped. It was wild how crazy that one was. So.
And I was a guy at the time, I wanted the Lakers to win that game. I was pro Lakers in that game, but I can, even as a pro Laker in that game, which is weird to say now because I will never cheer for the Lakers outside of when you bet against them. Yeah, it was obvious. It was obvious to me.
Jeez. Yeah, I forget about that. That's wild. That's a good one. I like that one. That's a good pick at number 4.
But like the one thing I have against that, and the same thing with what Milwaukee's been trying to put in for a while. The thing is with the conspiracies, like I feel like if they're like almost certainly true, they're not really conspiracies anymore.
Yeah, if they're not, that's true.
But you can't prove it's true. There's no proof that it's true.
I mean, I feel like
I agree with your notion.
Like they were paid by, like when they were paid by the mob. I feel like that was enough proof to say at least there's a high chance it happened.
Well,
that's the same thing with Milwaukee's talking about the Black Sox scandal.
The Black Sox scandal was a
conspiracy. That's true.
Yeah, and that's why I don't classify that as a conspiracy, right? Because conspiracies
that was proven completely to be true.
Correct. It was a scandal. Scandals are proven, right? Like if you're, well, for the most part, scandals should be something that comes out that is giving even Scotty being gifted all the good calls. Yeah.
I don't agree.
He
with
baits
that.
you. He's the baiter. He's the master baiter. He's a master baiter.
Yeah. Epic at that. Keeps coming with it. Never gets tired.
All right. I got one more, and I have a couple like kind of honorable mentions that if you don't take it, I want to throw it out there. But I'm gonna close out my last pick. We're gonna go. We're going to go Ravens, Niners, blackout Super Bowl. I think I got to go there.
Waiting for that one to pop up.
Yeah, so this one is kind of wild, right? So during the Super Bowl, the conspiracy is that the Baltimore Ravens were able to. So there's a back and forth. The Baltimore Ravens were playing very, very well, and momentum was everything. All of a sudden, there was a power outage after Beyonce's halftime performance. With the Ravens' momentum disrupted, the San Francisco 49ers end up getting back into the game. And so they're wondering whether or not that blackout was legit or not, whether it's not something took place to manipulate that time frame of ruining the momentum of that game to shift it the other direction. Ray Lewis came out later in a documentary called America's Game saying that you're a $1 zillion company and your lights go out? No shot. No way. And then Terrell Suggs also said something similar, like, you know, Goodell always has something up his sleeve. He couldn't just let us have this one, so on and so forth. And so, you know, there's a lot of issues whether or not that theory of the fact that the blackout changed the whole landscape of that game and everything just is history from here on out.
It didn't change the outcome, but that was on my list as well, Chris. That was on my list. I got one more to go here. I'm trying to debate where I want to go. I have several in mind.
Are you the master of debate?
No, that's obviously evil.
No, he's the master of baiting.
He's the master. He's the masturbator.
You're the master debater.
I got a few in mind. I mean, now that you have nothing left, there's a conspiracy involving, you know, UNLV losing to Duke in a historic upset in the Final Four.
I think it was Gibby that mentioned that.
Did he? Oh, I didn't even see that in the chat, but that was on my list. Which it's right there now that I look at the chat. Another one on my list, because I don't have a hockey one, is different, but it's a draft as well, and it's the Penguins getting awarded with the number 1 pick when Sidney Crosby was the player that was there, like at that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with that.
Okay.
Because I don't have a hockey one.
Okay.
So I'm gonna bleed into hockey, and the Penguins getting the number 1 overall pick in the lottery in the 2005 draft, where Sidney Crosby was literally in our lifetime, like the last 20 years, Chris, the can't miss prospect that we've never seen before, right?
Correct. The LeBron James at that point of.
And at this time, the Penguins franchise was a mess. I think Joe Coles is putting out there. The Penguins franchise was a mess. The Penguins ownership was literally threatening to move the team out of Pittsburgh to head to Kansas City, of all places, Chris. And it was the Penguins had been garbage for a while at that point. They were threatened to move. It was a bad situation, and the NHL stepped in and was like, "All right, let's grant you Sidney Crosby." And we've seen how that's panned out. It's panned out great. The Penguins become a premier franchise after that point, and they've been great. And like the rest is history. No one's moved to Kansas City or anything like that.
Yep.
In my mind, unfortunately. Yeah, Arizona should absolutely move to, well, anywhere but Arizona. If we're gonna, I'll match you with the draft lottery one, and I'll go to the NHL and think I absolutely think the NHL fixed the lottery to take care of a disgruntled owner and fan base in Pittsburgh to keep them there rather than moving to Kansas City, and they gave him Sidney Crosby, and the rest is history.
Ooh, here we go. We got some spicy ones here. Go ahead, guys. Vote. I love all of these conspiracy theories, though. There's actually a book that I was looking at some of these that is like the top 30 conspiracy theories as sports, and like I kind of want to get it, and maybe I'll get it at the library, see if it's any good. But all right, here we go. Scotty, he's got Spygate, the Phantom Punch, the Ripken Costner streak with the infidelity thing going on. You had the Kings Lakers Western Conference Finals, and you had the Pens getting Crosby. Then I got the Jordan retirement, 1993, the frozen envelope with the New York Knicks, and Patrick Ewing, getting Patrick Ewing on a fixed draft lottery. Got Gretzky going to LA when the details of why that was strange and why that was weird. We got the bloody sock, and we have the Niners Ravens blackout that took place during the Super Bowl to change the momentum of that game. So vote.
I didn't even mention in that last one, the 49ers Ravens, Chris. At that time, I had 4 figures on that game on the Ravens. In a world where I didn't have the money to be betting 4 figures on a game, but I did, and it worked out for me. So
cashed in, cash and checks.
That night. Really intoxicated that night. After. But
we got some good ones. We got some good ones on here. There's some honorable mentions that I didn't have. So I have it on here at the top of our thing. The conspiracy of the fact that Jimmy Butler is Michael Jordan's son. There's all these that was. I mean, it's not like a big one like all the ones that we have here, but it's kind of like one of those minuscule conspiracies. Like everyone kind of looks at the split shot, and it's like how closely Jimmy Butler and Michael Jordan look when it comes down to it.
Yeah. And 666 puts out there, Michael Jordan's father was murdered because of gambling debt. And I didn't want to... That's somewhat tied into what you put at number 1. But yeah, there's definitely out there that the reason Jordan's dad was shot and killed, because that's how he died, was due to Michael's gambling debts, and they took it out on him. And obviously those two were very, very close. So I didn't know if that bled into your number 1 pick.
Yeah, it did. Because it's a very complex number 1 overall pick. Because there's the aspect of the gambling that the NBA was trying to mitigate, if that's what actually took place, where David Stern, with the way that they looked at Michael Jordan as the number 1 sports superstar. I mean, across the world. I don't know, just protecting the integrity of what they wanted from that outlook when he made the NBA so much money and got so many eyeballs on the sport, changed the game globally. To have something happen to him, I mean, it's tough. It's tough. But yeah, that it kind of is linked, and it goes hand in hand with, you're right, 666. By the way, 666, it's good to see you back. It's been a while since we've seen you in the chat. Yeah, welcome back, brother.
Pander for votes, Chris. No, I'm just kidding.
Guys, vote.
666, vote, guys.
Chris is winning.
Guys, by 1. Guys, we need to vote. Because I just want more votes. 3-3. We have a tie. No, we can't end in a tie, just so you know.
Also, speaking of winning, Chris, you finally did it.
What?
No.
What happened?
The Thunder won by 8.
Let's go!
So you would have still won at 7.5.
No. That ruins our bet. When we started it, you wanted to bet it at 8.5. Damn it. And it went down to 6.5, and that screwed me.
I was trying to bet it at 8.5, and then all of a sudden I couldn't. It wasn't letting me, and then it wasn't letting you either.
No. What are we doing, sons?
By the way, I put another substantial bet before it goes down on the Nuggets, as another, before it gets below 4-1. I put another bet on him. I saw Michael Porter Jr. shoot 10 for 10 the other night, and I was like, if Michael Porter Jr. is putting up 30 one night, and he's putting up 10 for 10 shooting the next night, and we got everybody else shooting on all cylinders, dude. When I mean, it's guys, if you want value, if there's a value pick, I can tell you the Nuggets at 4, it's at 4 plus 420 right now. Shout out to all our local Colorado folks at 420. 420. I mean, STG.
That's a conspiracy.
STG. Think about this. When Michael Porter Jr. is doing what he's doing, and like you never expect anything from him. If he just puts up like 15 points, you're like, cool. Like, I'll take that. The fact that he's starting to get consistent at the right time, hey, you guys gotta, hey, just think about that a little bit. Guys, vote. I could vote 10 more times if you want. I mean, is there a limit?
No, you cannot.
I think you can only vote.
You can only vote once. Yeah, Scotty's taking the lead with his list. By the way, guys, we are going to cover on an upcoming show the top conspiracies from one list or the other.
He said with other accounts. Have you followed with those other accounts?
I might bring in tonight's a conspiracy, Chris. This game was tied at 103 each with about 5 minutes to go before my side crumbled, and I might bring up conspiracy. I'm not sure. This is ridiculous at this point.
Guys, vote. I need all of you guys to vote on this. Which conspiracy list do we want to cover on an upcoming show? We're going to be breaking down 5 conspiracies that you were interested in. I'm actually kind of shocked that, I mean, like, I got some big profile conspiracy theories here.
Careful. I'm shocked. Careful.
I mean, you got, I mean, not to throw shade at the boxing one. That one's interesting for sure. But I mean, boxing isn't as, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I got some pretty strong, high profile, like I got like some really high level, not to say that yours aren't high level, but I don't know.
Like you're trying to
I like my list.
The draft here, Chris.
I like my list.
Also, with you going the Pens getting Sidney Crosby, honestly, I would have gone with the Blackhawks getting Connor Bedard this past draft.
Yeah, they still suck though. I like more than Crosby because that franchise was in limbo of even staying in Pittsburgh, and then they got that pick.
Yeah, of course, you look at Chicago, because they have like one of, if not the biggest scandal in hockey history. Their entire dynasty is tainted. Of course, like hockey, it didn't really seem to care too much about. They let everyone go with a shred of dignity, so it almost kind of seemed like hockey was kind of giving them another chance to try and respark or redo what they had 10 years ago.
Yeah.
A dynasty that's not tainted.
Guys, vote. If you're in the chat, which conspiracy theory list do you want to cover on a future show? SDG, you could do Ewing to the Knicks. Most rigged of all time. I mean, that's the frozen envelope. That's number 2.
That's number 2, Chris. Of course, you bring that up as we're getting to the end. No, but that is SCG. That is the frozen envelope theory. That's the Ewing one. Evil. Are you thinking the same, or are you thinking the 2 NBA expansion teams will be Vegas and Seattle?
Seattle, yes,
Those would
for sure.
certainly be my top 2 picks, and I'd be shocked if it went.
Seattle would be 1. Vegas.
I think no.
You won, Scotty.
The NBA wants Vegas. The NBA wants Vegas.
Your list won.
Scotty wins.
I did it.
Hey, there it is.
You just didn't win money this time.
Yeah. So I never knew it was called the frozen envelope. Yeah. So that's the whole the New York Knicks, David Stern reaching into the thing, and then knowing and understanding which envelope to pull out. And there were theories that it was frozen and it was colder than the others, and there was also like the corner. Does Chris have to shave his eyebrows?
To shave his eyebrows.
You do have to shave your eyebrows. I think that's what we need. gambled on tonight.
Lauren would not approve of that. She would not approve of the eyebrows.
She's hinted that you just get like the, I don't know, what is it that regrows your hair?
What is
the coloring, but you can get the regrowing one.
Is it just for men? That's coloring.
Or just
That's
draw your eyebrows on like
people. Yeah, people draw their.
You can get them tattooed on. I could get them
Chris.
tattooed on. You know, I think
Yes.
I had my mom's aunt had her tattooed eyebrows tattooed, which shout out.
I didn't know where you were headed there. I thought you were gonna be like, I'm gonna tattoo my mom. Instead of eyebrows, I'll just tattoo my mom's face up there.
Shout out to D Cola
I
too.
don't think work would appreciate that.
I think we can compromise and add more of Chris's
Spinach. I don't know if he was
conspiracy. More.
Okay.
We can so STG wants to compromise and add a couple. So all right, maybe we'll.
So maybe three of Scotty's and 1 or 2 of Chris's.
Okay, yeah, we could do that. We can mix it up. But congratulations, Scotty.
It's mostly up to me as the champion. I'll think about it.
So there you go. Conspiracy theories. And there's more. There's way more than this. So we just covered the top ones that we can find. Let's see. I want to see that on stream. I hope you do, Evil, because it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. You will get it.
No, he was saying he wants to see you
shave your eyebrows.
Yeah. Never mind.
I think we all want to see that.
Forget that, Evil. We're not doing that. I saw an interview with one of the coaching staff of whatever team was trying to land Patrick Ewing prior to that draft, and he said he was told it's all taken care of. Ewing is going to New York, i.e., don't worry about trying to get him in the draft because he's going elsewhere. Ooh, yeah. No, it's
again, the joke's on them because New York then won. How many titles did Ewing win? I forget. It's countless titles.
There's a lot.
I mean that is technically accurate. You can't count to 0.
Yeah. It's hard.
It's hard to do.
It.
All right, guys. Well, thank you guys. We haven't done a lab draft in a while, so appreciate you guys hanging out with us doing a lab draft. We're going to do these more often as the off season continues on. So, all right, let's get to the last segment of the night, and we're going to close out with a little bit of Ultimate roster. Let's get it. All right, let me make this a little bigger because it's easier to see for everybody. After dark, baby. Let's go. All right. Ultimate roster. All right, here we go. We have Ultimate roster. Let me explain how this works, guys. So we've done this a few times, so you guys, a lot of you guys know what's going on with this. But what this is fantasy related, and we have, it's kind of like the Podal or the Weddle or all the different things where it's daily, and they give you some options on how to select the best fantasy roster based off of the categories that they gave us. So for tonight, we have
South will rise again.
The South will rise again. We must have these players that we're going to be selecting: quarterback, wide receiver, running back, tight end, and hold on, I don't have the whole thing here. Give me a sec. And flex. And flex. Stretch this out, make it big, this and that. That's what she said, because we're after dark. All right. So, gosh, I cannot format the shit out of this.
Okay. So this only involves 6 teams, so this shouldn't be, and it's from last year, right? I think. Well, it eliminates the Bucks and it eliminates the Texans.
So must have played AFC South, NFC South that did not make the playoffs in 2023. Only stats from the 2023 regular season will be applied. So, guys, we have a good opportunity here when it comes to this roster, because we just recently played fantasy football, right? All of us played in the same. A lot of us played in the same fantasy league. So we should have a little bit of a leg up.
That would tell you everything.
AFC.
Well, don't give it now.
AFC or NFC South. So NFC South is pretty rough. Outside of Baker, maybe from a quarterback standpoint.
No, you can't do it. Baker made the playoffs, Chris.
Oh yeah, you're right. Oh, that did not.
You're
right.
I think quarterback. You're looking at one or two. You're looking at Trevor Lawrence and Derek Carr. Those are the only two options. Obviously, Colts went through some different starters when Richardson went down, and then Gardner. In NFC South, the Falcons rotated, and the Panthers were a dumpster fire. So, with the rookie, so it's one of those two. We don't have to. We got people in the chat. Ingram for tight end, which might be the pick there.
We know it's not Bryce Young.
It's not Bryce Young.
True.
It's not Bryce Young. Running back, I think it might be Travis Etienne, unless you want to go like Bijan Robinson. But
I mean, Bijan had a slow start though, right? Like Bijan didn't. He kind of. I mean, he got good as the season went on, but like Bijan was a little slow out the gates.
Or Derrick Henry, but like did Derrick Henry put up better numbers than Etienne? Derrick Henry was very hit or miss.
Etienne was out a couple weeks though too. I think. Didn't Etienne miss a couple games? I think Bijan, SGG missed a couple games.
I don't think Etienne missed games, did he? I don't know. Maybe he did.
Derrick Henry had less than Etienne, I feel.
Wide receiver feels gross. I almost want to go like Michael Pittman Jr.
Don't do it. Don't do Michael Pittman. Stop it. I mean, it's probably like in the realm of the right answer, but I'm like, I can't ever get there with Michael Pittman regardless.
I mean, there's dudes on different rosters. You have who's the Falcons took top 10 last year, a year or two ago. What's his name? Yeah, London. I see. I wanted to say Lofton, and I knew it was wrong. I'm like, I know it's with an L. Not Lofton. London. Saints. I don't think Olave was consistent enough.
Because wait, we have what?
Let's do one at a time for now.
All right. So from the AFC, let's just. So who didn't? The Jaguars didn't make it. The Colts didn't make it.
Jaguars, Titans, Colts.
Jaguars, Titans, Colts in the AFC, and the NFC was the Saints, the Falcons,
and Panthers,
and the Panthers. Or those are there's the 6 teams that we're pulling from a fantasy perspective this year.
QB were clearly down to either Trevor Lawrence or Derek Carr. Lawrence missed at least one game. I know for sure, but I don't know. I would guess Derek Carr threw for more yards than Trevor Lawrence, but then Trevor Lawrence runs a little, which helps in fantasy. I could go either way on that one.
I mean, Lawrence, I feel like got more goal line touchdowns, right? Did he run for? He ran for some like touchdowns, a couple here.
He ran for a ton of touchdowns.
He ran for a couple, maybe.
Maybe.
As a Lawrence owner, he scored no more than 15 points until about 8 to 9 weeks ago. So STG is from experience saying
it could be Carr.
I think it could be Carr too. And Carr moved the ball down the field. He just couldn't punch it in the end zone, in the red zone very often. He had struggles in the red zone all season long. So I feel like from a yardage standpoint, I think Derek Carr is probably the right answer. From just I
lean. The problem is the running side. Because Lawrence is, I don't know how much Lawrence ran this year, but he certainly ran more than Carr. Carr can't run to save his life.
And that does matter. I mean, fantasy wise, yardage does matter from a running standpoint.
Rushing yards matter a ton.
I mean, based off of what STG said and based off of what Gibby said.
People want Lawrence. People want Lawrence in the chat, so let's go with Lawrence.
All right. Okay. Wide receiver. So, like you said, Michael Pittman. I mean, we could go with some Saints receiver Olave.
Olave was too inconsistent to me.
Olave had he was feast or famine. Like he had some bad games and he had some big games, but he was also, he was banged up some part of the season too.
This might be the only scenario we get a Panther in there. I mean, Thielen had a big year with the Panthers.
Thielen consistently, he had a couple rough games. I had him on my fantasy team, so he had a couple, 2 or 3 rough games, but overall pretty consistent. Maybe he could be a flex. He could be a flex candidate. And here's the thing: we're going this season, so most likely this isn't like a long term, so we're not going running back most likely in our flex. We're most likely going wide receiver in our flex.
Agreed.
Ridley Pittman. Ridley says SDG says Ridley had 2 or so great weeks.
Ridley had some monster weeks and then he was invisible for 10 weeks. I think Pittman might be wide receiver 1, which is wild. I think Pittman might be wide receiver 1 in this scenario.
All right, let's lock him in. Pittman, Lawrence. Running back, can we go Bijan?
We have Bijan, Etienne, and Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry had an end of the season that was good. He finished out the season. I don't think it was enough.
I would take Etienne.
I think it's between Etienne and Bijan. For me, Etienne. I think Etienne's our pick.
SCG said Etienne. That's my lean. I think Etienne.
Okay. Etienne. Tight end. Gosh, all tight ends were shit this year.
Someone said it earlier, and I don't remember. Sorry. It was Ingram.
Yeah.
Ingram.
I don't hate Ingram. I mean, he was...
Colts, Titans, no.
Not Falcons, because believe me.
Falcons with Kyle Pitts.
Pitts
did better than... Kyle Pitts is probably closer to Ingram than people expect, or maybe beat him out, but people...
I think Ingram's
terrified of Kyle Pitts.
Probably the choice, though.
There's is not it, so... It's either Pitts or Ingram, but I go Ingram.
I go Ingram as well. Oh, shit. Watch out.
And now the flex. It's E.
Oh, E.
Ingram.
So we most likely go wide receiver.
Yeah.
So now we could probably get into those conversations of
Thielen,
probably. Olave might be in the mix, but I think
Ridley.
Bijan or Henry.
Maybe.
I mean, of those, you go. Is this PPR?
It is PPR.
So I would say Bijan from a PPR slot. I mean, could be a little bit more, but I mean, Henry crushed the end of the season. But
I would go sneaky Thielen, and I don't know why. I could be very wrong on that.
London.
He was really good. No, Thielen. He was really good the first part of the year. Maybe he died off. Obviously, the Panthers didn't score touchdowns or score at all most of the season. But
Adam Thielen,
like the only guy. Drake London was there and had a pretty good year. But I don't think he put up certainly in a PPR, he wasn't catching nearly as many as Thielen.
Thielen was the only wide receiver Bryce threw to. True. You want to lock this in? I think we lock this in.
Let's do it.
Let's lock it in. Let's see what we got. Guys, we've been crushing this. We're probably one of the smartest communities on the planet when it comes to Ultimate Roster. See what we got. Let's go!
8 pluses across
the board. Let's go to the
perfect. It's not completely perfect.
Let's go to the optimal roster. So we have Lawrence. Let's look at ours one more time. Lawrence, Pittman, ETN, Ingram, Thielen. Lawrence, Pittman, ETN, Ingram, Henry.
Henry's 246. What was Thielen?
231. Okay.
We're right there.
That's still really good, though.
Close.
Congratulations. Let's go.
I was going to say, Ingram, that's one of the players that Chris would like for fantasy. Boring, doesn't inspire you, but you know what he does? He gets points.
Yeah, you go to bed at night. Well, I mean, it's hard to say that with Ingram. Like, I say that with quarterbacks and tight ends, like top-end tight ends. But, like, Evan Ingram, I mean, who'd have thought?
He's
Not me.
He's probably the best flex player I've ever had in fantasy.
Wow.
I think I ranked in fantasy him at like 8 or 9 every week in tight end.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, he was consistent. He was consistently good. He got points. He didn't inspire you, but you knew what you were getting every week.
After he fell off the cliff, because he was a high draft pick with the Giants, and everyone was very high on him. And
he forgot how to catch.
And then moved to the Jags.
Jacksonville. Suddenly remembers how to catch.
Yeah.
Like Eric Ebron going from Detroit to Indy.
What's interesting about the optimal roster is you didn't even need both divisions.
Yeah.
All of them.
You only needed one.
In the AFC
All of them are the AFC.
I said that was going to be the hint that gave everything away for you.
Yeah. Well, there you go, guys.
If I said that, you would have gone through the whole list in 10 seconds.
Yeah, but we crushed it. I feel good about what we did there.
Congratulations, guys. We haven't gotten below a B at all. I think we got a B plus is the lowest grade we've gotten. So, guys, we have the smartest community on the planet, and it's not even close. So, thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. But that's gonna do it for us. We are all done for the evening, and we are getting out of here. It is a great way to end our Sunday nights, guys. It's always with you. So that being said, we are going to get out of here and get you onto your evening of sleep, rest, and recovery before the work week, school week, whatever you got going. So make sure you guys take it easy, have a good start to your week, and we're actually going to get you. There's nobody that will get you in a good spot than Robbie Fantana. We haven't rated Robbie in a while. He is smooth. He's got the voice of like a Frank Sinatra, you know, like he's just always so great. So we're going to get you over there and he's going to just serenade you all night long. But that being said, we have more teams to cover this coming Wednesday for March Madness. We have more NFL that we're going to be covering. We have more we might do conspiracy theories on Wednesday. Who knows? I don't know. Scotty won the thing tonight, so we might get back into the conspiracy theories right off the bat. But we'll see. I really like some of my conspiracies. I promise. I was like, man, I felt really good about my list. But I finally got that dub. On the head-to-head bet.
You did?
So trying to build that bankroll up.
Damn you.
Let's go.
Bucket.
All right, guys. Well, have a great start to your week. Between now and Wednesday, go be good to other people around you and go live in the moment because we don't do that enough. Put the phone down. Enjoy the family and friends and all the things going on. And give Robbie Fantana a follow if you have not already. And we will see you back here live on Wednesday night. Go check out, by the way, we need you guys to share actionlabsports.com. We have a bunch of articles. I'm getting more up this week. And also, we have all of our new videos. All of the videos that we saw tonight, or all the topics we covered tonight, are going to be on YouTube. So go share those. The more you like and share, the bigger our community grows, and we need more of you guys. The more the merrier. So make sure you go share all of that this week at some point. That's your homework. Share the stream or share some clips with someone who loves sports. That's it. All right, guys. Have a great week. Scotty, anything else you want to add?
No, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you back here in a few nights.
All right, there you go. Love you guys. Have a great night. We will see you next time. Love you.